In 2009, Gareth Thomas, as I'm sure you know, became the first rugby star to openly come out as gay. Well, since then, he's become a campaigner for other sports stars and everyone else, really. Last year, he revealed he was HIV positive, and now his new podcast, well, it aims to tackle the stigma around the disease. And Gareth, I'm glad to say, joins me now. It's good to see you, love. How are you doing?
Morning, Lorraine. Lovely to see you. How are you?
I'm good. I like that we showed you on Dancing on Ice with all your sequins. I like that.
Do you know,
it was very good.
I never watched myself doing on Dancing on Ice. When I did it, that's the first time I've seen myself skating, and boy, do I look ridiculous.
No, you look gorgeous. Behave yourself, behave yourself. Now, look, this is a great thing that you are doing because I think still, even now, people have got the wrong idea when it comes to HIV. They still remember, I mean, like I do, those adverts back in the 80s with big icebergs and everything, and the fear that was around there, and the, well, basically people just didn't really understand, did they?
Yeah, there's a huge stigma and misunderstanding going around, and I felt when I spoke about my diagnosis being HIV positive, I kind of created conversation about it, but I found it very difficult to continue that conversation. So I set up Tackle HIV along with ViiV Healthcare and Terence Higgins Trust as the charity partner to make sure that the conversation was going so people are getting the right information. And before we started, we did a survey, and we found out that almost half of the people who we surveyed still thought HIV could be transmitted even if the person is on effective treatment. 2/3 of the people said if they found out a potential partner was HIV positive, they would end the relationship. And 1 in 3 of the people who we surveyed said that if they were playing a contact sport and found out somebody else was HIV positive on the team or in that environment, they would stop playing. So that justified why there's need for a platform, which we've got with www.tacklehiv.org, where there's correct information, right. A place where people can go to realize that I'm, living with HIV in 2020. I take 1 tablet a day, and that allows me to suppress the virus, which means that I can't transmit it to my husband, for instance, sure, who is HIV negative. And, people who think that I could transmit it by having a hug or by holding a knife and fork. There he is, my lovely husband, who has supported me through this all and is a huge supporter of what I'm doing now, because I'm trying to create a better environment for everybody, not just people living with HIV, for people affected by it as well, and that's family, friends, and everybody in society.
Yeah, and also just getting it out there with the actual facts. That's the thing, isn't it? Because there you are, you're living with HIV, as you said, you take 1 tablet a day, and you're just getting on with your life. I mean, life has not changed in that sense.
Yeah, and a very healthy, happy life. I suppose the only thing that has changed is I do kind of sometimes have to live in assessing environments, because I feel, because so many people in society, as the survey shows, are uncomfortable. I feel it difficult sometimes to talk about living with HIV in environments where other people may be uncomfortable about talking about it, because they may still have the theory that if they're in the same room as somebody else, or if they touch the door handle after somebody else has touched the door handle, because these myths that were created 20 odd years ago still exist. The fact that in the last 20 years science and medicine has advanced so that people living with HIV can live happy, healthy lives. That last 20 years have kind of been like this underground movement. And I, along with Terence Higgins Trust, along with ViiV Healthcare, along with Tackle HIV, want to put out the correct information. I feel if people have the correct information, then they can make the right, correct decisions, which makes a better environment and a better society for everybody.
Oh, I mean, I remember it well. I remember during the 80s and friends of mine who became HIV positive, and we thought we were going to lose them all. We really did. I mean, it was a really scary, scary time. And now look where we are, and look what science has achieved. But as you say, there's still a job to be done to let people know we actually have, the drugs are there, and you can live as you are. I mean, you're the shining example that you can live a really happy and very, very safe life.
Yeah, and I feel we really should be, right? We should be celebrating how far we've come, because if this was any other form of virus, any other form of illness, and we would have advanced so far, then we would be celebrating. But I feel because it's got such a stigma, such a misunderstanding connected to it, people don't want to have the conversations. People don't want to give it the inches. Coming on to this show today is great for us, because people will sit down, and this will go into living rooms of families, of people who probably never would have a conversation of HIV, because they believe that it'll never be in their environment. So for people to learn this way is why we set up Tackle HIV, why we set up tacklehiv.org, so people can go and get factual, correct information and be able to celebrate the science, be able to celebrate the medicine and how far we've come.
I think it's really hopeful, especially obviously as we're living in these times, you know, with coronavirus, and it shows that science was able to help people with HIV. And you'd like to think that, you know, we hope it's not 20 years, but we'd like to think that very soon we will be, as you say, we will be celebrating the fact that hopefully we've got there. Because everything is baby steps, isn't it, Gareth? Everything is baby steps.
Of course it is. And also it's realising that as a society, you know, a lot of people think HIV is only a virus that affects the LGBT community or Black African men and women. And that's not the case. HIV is a virus that can affect anyone. So everybody has to know about it. And on the COVID case, you know, when you talk about how we're going to get through it, whether you've had coronavirus, whether you're high risk, low risk, whether you've never had it, we all have to learn how to live together regardless of what category you're in. And it's the same with HIV. I feel we all need to learn and educate ourselves on how we speak about HIV, what we know about HIV, because it's a potential that anyone of us, anyone, regardless what community you're part of, could be affected by HIV. So if we all learn about it and we all live together with the knowledge of it, then we'll have a better society, a happier society where people aren't judgmental, aren't stigmatized, just like we are at the moment, I think, with COVID, where people, you know, some people think it's this way. If we all did the one thing the right way and the correct way and the way the law is telling us, then we'd get on and get through it much happier and much easier.
Gareth, wise words, and thank you so much for everything that you do. I've got so much to talk to you about. You need to come back and talk to me really, really soon, but you can listen to your new podcast, Tackling Stigma. That's right now, and always, always good to talk to you. Now, don't forget, you can watch full episodes of Lorraine on the ITV Hub and all the best clips, compilations and playlists right here on our channel. Just subscribe now and you'll never miss an upload. Click here to watch another video similar to this one, or click here to head to our channel's homepage to explore all of our exciting videos.